This is Sandy Bacus, back for my third video. Just want to say thank you to everybody for all the comments, all the likes, all the subscribers. It's a good feeling when you see the kind comments and you see another person subscribe, and kind of gives you the incentive to want to stitch away so that you have something to show on the next video. I'm looking at notes, so when you see me looking over to the side, I can't keep everything in this head up here anymore. We've been very, very busy during July and August. We have doctor's appointments that come up once a year, and it seems like every one of those have been scheduled during July and August. And then on top of that, my husband needed cataract surgery. So he had one surgery done in July on one eye, and then the other eye was done in August. So he has one more doctor's appointment for all of that, and then that'll be finished up. And it's looking like after the middle of next week, we should be calming down quite a bit and not have to be running out all the time. I wanted to tell you a little story. We, as I've told you before, kind of live in the country. There's a curve in front of our house, and a couple of weeks ago we heard a big crash and went out, and an 18-year-old young man had fallen asleep coming home from work, and he hit our mailbox, knocked it off. He hit two more mailboxes down the road, and his car flipped and ended up on the roof. And he was not wearing his seatbelt, unfortunately. And when we got out there, he was crawling out of the car. He was very disoriented, complaining that his head hurt very, very badly and that he couldn't see out of his right eye. And I stayed there with him, talking to him, along with some other people who had stopped, until the rescue squad and the fire department and the police got there. And he was taken to the hospital. Well, he came by yesterday, and he's all better. They thought they were going to have to do surgery on his eye, but as it turns out, he said they didn't have to do it. He is feeling really good now. He's back to work, and the wonderful part about this is that he was here to fix the mailboxes for the people down the road because they hadn't fixed theirs yet. And he came over and said he saw that we had fixed ours. My husband had gotten another post, put the old mailbox on it, and then stuck it in the ground. And so he wanted to pay us. So it had cost a little over $20 for the post, so my husband told him it was $20. And so he gave my husband the $20 to pay for that. And I thought that was just kind of cool in this day and age that an 18-year-old came and took responsibility for what had happened. So I just wanted to pass that along, that there are some really good kids out there. Also, I wanted to tell you a little bit about our cats. I think I had mentioned them maybe in a previous video. I am not sure. Over the course of our married life, my husband and I have had cats most of the time that we were married. And at one time we had 4. And the last one died back in January of 2016. And she was almost 19 years old. So she had lived a good long life. And we had to have her put to sleep because she was just very, very sick. And my husband and I both said, that's it. No more cats. It's just, he said, it's too hard when you have to let them go. And that's true. And we had really put a lot of time and effort into that last one because she had not been feeling good for a long time, and she needed somebody to be there with her almost every moment of the day. And that was me. When I would come home from work, she would sit next to me, and she insisted that my hand be right on top of her head. So we weren't going to get any more animals. That was going to be it. Well, last summer, just about, I'd say maybe about July, I started noticing that there was a black cat and a black and white cat that were kind of hanging out in my front yard. I had bird feeders up, and they were kind of hanging out there watching those bird feeders. When I would try to approach the cats, the black and white one would run, but the black one would come let me pet him. Well, eventually I found out that the black cat was owned by the neighbor next door, but the black and white one apparently had been dropped off at some point. But I had seen it, you know, many times before coming out of the woods, but it never really came up around the house until last summer. So I started trying to make friends with it. I just thought, well, maybe it'll let me pet it. And it took me probably 2 to 3 months before that cat let me actually pet him, because he was pretty feral. And he was a beautiful, beautiful black tuxedo cat, and I do have a picture that I'm going to try to show, but first I have to tell you a little more about him. When he decided that he would come in the house and he would be our cat, and something happened. He got his foot caught in a trap, and we took him to the vet, and they tried to save it, but he had to have his front leg amputated. We call him now our $1,000 cat because the medical bills came to over $1,000. And I have a picture of him, and I'm going to try to bring that up here and see if I can get it so that you'll be able to see it. And I think I'm getting that into focus there. And that is Boots. And Boots is just a fantastic cat. Love him very, very much. He is found out when we took him to the vet, he is a neutered male. And he had apparently had all his shots because he did not have feline leukemia and he did not have FIV, which is the cat equivalent to the human AIDS, which a lot of cats have. And so we got him shots again. So he's had all his shots again. Around late August, early September, a kitten showed up on our back porch, and he was just skin and bones. And we were like, oh geez, what are we gonna do? And he was probably, I want to say 6 to 8 months old then. He wasn't a tiny kitten, he was bigger, but he was so hungry, so we started to feed him. And we thought, well, you know, we might as well take in another one. And he, unfortunately, when we took him to the vet, he does have feline leukemia. He does have the FIV. The vet said it may shorten his life a little bit, but it really shouldn't affect too much. We kind of think he might be bipolar because this cat can just be just as nice as can be, and then he will run and attack the other cats. So we kind of have to keep an eye on him. Sometimes he's just really, really anxious. He's scared of noises, but he's a loving cat. And his name is Buddy, and this is Buddy. Let's turn that, maybe you can see that a little better. That is Buddy. Now, around that same time, we noticed that there was another cat out there. We were putting food out now all the time for the cats that were out and about. There's a lot of feral cats out there, and the ferals were coming to eat, and also a little tortoiseshell was coming, and she was so tiny, and we thought at first she was a kitten. But then in talking to the neighbor, I found out that she had been hanging around their house for a long time, couple of years, and that she had actually had a litter of kittens, but they had all died. And so we decided that we would take her in too. We took her into the vet. We had her spayed. As Buddy, we had him neutered. And we didn't have her tested for the feline leukemia and FIV because we figured if she had been out there for a couple of years and all those feral cats were getting to her when she was in heat, that she no doubt had those. So we just let it go. And so her name, she was named by the neighbors, and her name is Patches. And this is Patches. And she is just the sweetest little thing that you would ever want to see. She sleeps at the bottom of my bed every night. Right now, I can see her. She's sitting in the window, and she's just basking in the sun. But she is a real sweetheart. So I just wanted to let you know about all our cats. So we have 3 now. That's it. We're still putting food out for the ferals. Summertime, the ferals don't come around too often. Wintertime, they're here morning and evening, and we usually put food out twice a day. And there's probably 4 or 5 different ferals that will come to eat, but you can't get near them. Sometimes they'll bolt even if you're looking out the window at them. So that's just the way it is. We've got the 3 now in the house. I don't think we'll be taking in any more. Okay, I have been watching tons of Flosstube. I figured out a way that I can watch it while I'm stitching by using my Windows tablet, and I've just met so many wonderful people on Flosstube, and some of those are subscribing to me, and it's fantastic. I'm just loving seeing what everybody's doing. So from there, I want to let you know about, I told you that I had some FFOs that were from a while ago that I couldn't show you because they've been hanging on the wall. And I tried to take some pictures, and I'm going to see if I can get these pictures to show up here so that I can show them to you. But the first one is one that's up there on the wall behind me, and I don't know whether I told you anything about it the last time, but it's Village Harbor by Linda Myers, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to see that. There's a lot of light in here, so I'm hoping that's coming into focus. But it's Village Harbor by Linda Myers, and the pattern was from 1988, and I stitched that on 14 count white Aida. So that was that one. Then I also have one that's hanging in my family room, and this one, I'll try to get that up there where you'll be able to see it. That is a 67 Camaro. That's coming in. I hope it's coming into focus. I can't really tell from where I'm looking here, and trying to get the window light out of it. But that is from Stony Creek. It's a collection of classic cars, and I'm not sure. I did this last year or the year before, and I'm not really sure whether that's 11 count or 14 count Aida. It may be 11 count. But those, and I framed those myself. I'm not very good at framing, but it was my attempt, and they turned out well enough to go on the wall. Okay, now let's get into my current whips. Last time I showed you Spring Garden Spot, and this is a Paula Vaughn design. I don't think I told you that the first time. And all I had to do was back stitching. And I told you one of the last videos that I hope to have the back stitching finished by the end of the year. I don't know whether I'll make it because this is so intricate. This is the most difficult pattern that I've ever done in my life. This was from a 90s magazine. It may have been just cross stitch, but I'm not sure. And I did this on 14 count ivory Aida. And I did more back stitching on this. I did more on the chair, more up at the top of the chair there to the side. You can start to see the flowers and the green branches and stuff that is starting to come into focus there for the picture. But I still have a lot of back stitching to do on that one. So I'm just going to keep plugging. I try to work on it maybe 2 or 3 times a week, maybe 45 minutes at a time, and hopefully I will be able to get that one done. This next whip is fits all sizes, and I'm not sure whether I really worked on this at all since the last time that I showed it to you. This is from Stony Creek's Outhouse collection, and it's 14 count Country Cream Aida. And I may have done a little bit on it, but I don't think I did very much. It's in my rotation, but I kind of spent a lot of time working on one of my other projects, which I'll show you here in a little bit. I also showed you the last time the other outhouse that I was working on. That's occupied. And all I have to do is back stitching on that, and I don't think I may have put 1 or 2 threads in it. Other than that, I don't think I've touched it, so I won't even get that out this time. Then, where I've spent all my time is on my spring cardinals. I've really been putting a big push on this, trying to get this one finished. This pattern is by Diane Arthurs, and this is 14 count white Aida. And I'm going to try to get these threads down here and hold this up so that you'll be able to see it. And I have done a lot on this. I was about halfway done, and now back up a little bit here, trying to get it to where you'll be able to see it good. There's a lot of light in here. But I finished that whole bird and all those flowers over there on that side, and I've got a little bit there in the middle to do, and then move on down into the basket. And I'm trying to back stitch on this as I go. I did get a little bit behind because I was using this for the Stitch-a-thon on Cross Stitch Finish Line, and when I'm doing it for that, I don't backstitch, I just cross stitch. So I had to go in and do a lot of backstitching to catch up. I think that I pretty well caught up now. Okay, my next whip is Springtime by Sue Hillis, and this is on 14 count Chalice Aida, and this is where I am at with this one. And I haven't done a lot with this. I just got back into this on Monday, yesterday. So I've only worked on it yesterday and today. And I was working mostly right here where this, if I can get my finger up here, where the little birdhouse is. I've kind of been doing right around that area right there. I am a very slow stitcher. I will admit that. And take my time, and so consequently I don't get a lot of things done, but I'm working at it. Okay, also Cross Stitch Finish Line had the Guess What sale that just ended today, and I can tell you now that the project that I was working on is just a small one. It was called Dust is a Protective Covering for Furniture. I'm not going to show it to you because it doesn't really look like anything much now, but it's just a saying. It's from Leisure Arts, Short and Sassy, from 1987. And so I'm going to be working on that. It's not a big project, so I'm going to work on that quite a bit and try to get that one finished. And so I can move on because I have a lot of plans coming up here of things that I would like to do. And I mentioned Cross Stitch Finish Line. They've got some fabulous sales coming up. If you're not a member of that group, check it out, because it's a Facebook group, because I really enjoy that group. I enjoy the admins, I enjoy the sales, I enjoy the people that are on that group, and I would recommend it for anybody to go out there and sign up for that group. So there, Joe and Terry, I gave it a big push. So one of the next sales that's coming up is the Witchy sale. Well, before that, this week, we're having the Splish Splash. I was taking a bath, and I'm going to work on my outhouses for that one. And then the Witchy sale is coming, and I picked out a little pattern that I've got it all kitted up, and it's ready to go. So that one's coming up next month. And then in a prior video, I showed you my Artisy Shades of Summer. Big project, full coverage. I've got that. I've got all the flosses pulled and ready to go. I have to cut the fabric though. I'm going to use white Aida 14 count. And so I just have to cut that, and then I think I'm going to try to get that started here within the next couple weeks. At least get a little bit of stitches in it so I can say that I started it. So it won't be just a future anymore. It'll be a whip. Also, I purchased something probably, a year ago, and I wasn't sure whether I could do it or not, but I went ahead and I bought it, and I haven't opened it, and I want to show it to you guys because it's absolutely beautiful, and I'm hoping that not too much light reflects off of this plastic package. I'll try to hold it so you can see it. But this is a Dimensions kit, and I very rarely ever work from a kit. I don't know why. I just kind of prefer getting charts and using my own DMC that I have here. But try to bring that in a little bit closer and see if you can see it. But this is absolutely beautiful. It caught my eye, and I thought, oh, I have to try to stitch that. But it's 18 count. And I have so much trouble with my eyes, and so I'm not sure whether I can. And so consequently, I have left it sealed up. I haven't even opened it. But I think what I'm going to try to do is sometime here in the next month, 2 months, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to get the cloth, the fabric out, and I'm going to try to put a few stitches in it and see if I actually can see well enough to stitch it. If I can't, then maybe I'll just put it away, and maybe in the future, if I get the cataract surgery, I'll be able to see the 18 count. We'll see. I don't know. But I did want to show that to you because I think that's just beautiful. Also, the last thing that I have to tell you about is I opened up an Instagram account. I really wasn't sure what Instagram was, but you guys kept talking about it, and I kept seeing pictures posted on Facebook from my granddaughters that all said Instagram on them. So I called them and I asked them, I says, okay, tell me a little bit about this Instagram. Well, I was talking to the 20-year-old, and strangely enough, she said, well, you probably need to talk to Bree, and Bree is 14, and she says, Bree knows everything about Instagram. So I talked to them and found out a little bit. I figured out enough to open up an Instagram, and I put a couple of pictures on it. So my Instagram username, or whatever you call that, is Sandy Smith Bacus. On YouTube, I'm Sandy Bacus, but on Instagram, it's Sandy Smith Bacus. The Smith is my maiden name, and that's also my Facebook username. So, I think that's all I have for today. This is a little bit longer video than I did before. I'm hoping I don't have a problem with uploading it. But I just want to say, keep stitching to everybody. Keep showing your stuff. I really enjoy it. I am going to start getting out there and start following some of you on Instagram. When I watch your Flosstube videos and you mention your Instagram name, I make sure I write it down And I'm also looking on the notes to see if somebody has their Instagram name listed, and gonna go out there, start following people, and enjoying that along with your Flosstube videos. So everybody take care. I'm not sure when I'll be doing another video, probably 3 to 4 weeks. I don't want to just get on here and show you that I did 10 stitches. That doesn't make sense to me. So until the next time, happy stitching. Have a wonderful day, week, month, whatever it turns out to be, and take care. Bye.